All right, guys, so today we're ready to use the sewing machine. So the first rule of thumb is to not be afraid. It's just a machine and it's just like your phone, and once you learned how to use all the buttons, the thing worked just fine, and the sewing machines will do the same for you. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna do when you come up to your machine, I have named my machines just so that you know which one you're going back to, and also you'll find that they kind of have personalities of their own. This is Ken, because he's a Kenmore. So the first thing you're going to do is if you reach to the right, all the machines have the on-off switch here on the right-hand side. Make sure that that light is on. Once that light's on, you know that the machine is on. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to look to make sure that it's threaded properly. Okay, so to do that, I'll do a more in-depth display of this. So I'm using pink thread today. So the thread is going to come down. It's actually, there's numbers on here to tell you where to actually start. This is gonna thread down here. It's gonna come make a U-turn up into here. It's gonna thread over this little bar right there, and the way you move that lever is by this knob here on the right hand side. You turn that back and forth and that lever will move up and down. There we go. And then back down here. This is really important. Let me see if I can zoom in. Okay, you guys see that very tiny hook right there? Every machine has this. You need to make sure the thread is through there or your machine's gonna jam, okay? Then it gets threaded through the needle and it comes down beneath. This here is called the foot, the presser foot, okay? And these little rough things underneath are called the feed dogs. It's what grabs the fabric and pulls it through. You wanna make sure that there are two threads coming out of the machine. See, there's two. I have a black one coming from the bottom and I have a pink one coming from the top, and it pulls out nice and even for me. I'm thinking I'm ready to go. Okay, so I have finished sewing my little quilted piece and have also ironed it so it's nice and flat. Okay, there's no adhesive or glue anywhere on this. So what I'm going to go ahead and do right now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sew what they call a top stitch right on top of this stitch here, just to kind of tack it down and also to give you guys some practice using the sewing machines. Here's the deal. If I make a mistake, or if you make a mistake, it's not a problem because this is just practice anyways. Okay, so to do that, I am going to just make sure that the needle is up. Let me zoom. The needle is actually lifted up. You see that? Now look at, I'm just rotating that needle up and down manually with my hand on the right hand side over here. I'll demonstrate that on the machines. So I'm just gonna put my fabric in here. I'm going to put the presser foot down. How I do that is there's a lever behind the machine. I don't think you guys can see. Oh, there it is. That little guy right there. Sometimes they're way back here, but you just grab the lever, push it down. It will drop that foot down for you. Okay, now it's gas pedal time. I am just going to follow the line here with my foot. If I go off, no big deal. I'm just gonna go ahead and carefully, 5 miles an hour, go forward. Okay, good. So you go forward about 3 times, okay? Now over here, this is the reverse button. Sometimes they're located here on the machines. I'm just gonna push it down and hold it, and I'm going to back up about 3 times. 2, 3. Good, let go. Now I'm gonna go forward. So it's always, whenever you begin to sew, you're gonna go forward 3 times, back it up 3 times, and then you're gonna go ahead. And the reason you do that is you're basically tying your knot. If you don't do that, you have no knot, it's gonna come undone. So now I'm gonna zoom back up on here. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and go slowly. Okay, that's too fast. Slowly, like 5 miles an hour. There you go, that's better. The slower, the better. You have more control. Now look, there's no danger of me getting my fingers poked because my hands are way back here and I'm just kind of guiding it through. If I wanted it to turn, I would turn the fabric. If I wanted it to turn that way, I would just turn it, okay? But we're doing it easy, just doing straight lines. Try to keep it as close to that seam as possible. Look at, I'm at the end. I'm gonna back it up, go forward. Now, to get that needle out, to remove this, I'm going to manually lift my needle completely out of the fabric. You see that little black button right there? I'm gonna lift that. That's my presser foot. Now I'm gently gonna pull this fabric out, and if it gets tough to do that, I'm gonna wiggle the needle back and forth. And then I'm going to cut that fabric way far out from the machine, so way far out like here. If I cut this close, when the next person comes to start stitching, it's gonna get sucked into the machine. So I'm gonna leave it nice and long for the next person, and I'm gonna cut off my excess here. And I don't know if you guys can see that. That is a top stitch. It's basically just a nice type of detailing that quilters use, and also I felt like this will give you guys some good practice. So I would do that along this long seam and here, and this would be a good time to kind of play around if you wanted to do it, you know, follow any of your patterns. This would be the time to do it, all right? And once you're done with that, then we will give you guys postcards, and we will actually sew these to the postcards, all right? Have fun.